Annual review, we give you the choice of what the next review date is. It becomes a reminder, generates a new annual review form annually for you. Any accidents, incidents, or violations that have occurred that you've captured will automatically be filled in on the annual review when it gets presented to the driver, and give them the opportunity to add any new ones that he would like to disclose. Here's one just showing, so the driver's clicked no, signed it and dated. He doesn't see this part. This part gets generated once he's signed, and then you would meet safe or is disqualified. You can upload, again, maybe the driver's right in front of you, and again, talking about the upload capabilities, the driver may be right in front of you, you quickly have them sign it, you can then have them upload the signature right here. Right here you mark it as complete, your checkbox will go green and move on to the next piece. This one here, we've turned on health and safety. We've turned on some of the onboarding. The health and safety that comes canned in the system right now, the basic ones, is corrective action, drug and alcohol testing, and incidents, accidents, and violations. Corrective actions ties directly to an incident. So if somebody has refused dispatch, so you would create an incident of refused dispatch and corrective action, whatever your corrective action would be for that. So when you open up the corrective action, it will actually ask you to tie it to an incident. You've gone through the recruiting process, you've looked at the applications, they're complete, you're signed up to use the DAD services. One of the nice things about TruckRate, when a driver comes in to fill out an application, he's had 5 jobs in the last 5 years. We have to do an employment verification for every one of those. He's had 3 of them that have drug and alcohol, so we now have to do 3 of those. Our system, when you mark the file complete, automatically generates all of the inquiries, automatically generates all of the drug and alcohol. They're all populated with the previous employer, with your employer. The consent is then presented to the driver for the driver to sign the consents. So this is what a DAD request would look like if you were using the DAD services. And basically, yes, you're doing an employment request. You want to do employment history and drug. It's default to show 5 years. Best practice, what we've been hearing from our fleets, they're doing a 5-year background. This guy happened to only have 1 job. Again, this is Johnny Rocket. We don't want to hire Johnny Rocket. He worked for Flakes Only Trucking, and the system does have a drug and alcohol consent. DAD will not allow you to do what we need done without the releases. So if there's no release, we can't do the employment verification. We need a specific consent for each drug and alcohol, or we won't do the request. It won't let you push the request to us. The PSP report, when you click on the PSP report, we capture the data necessary to do the PSP report for you. We need the driver's name, driver's birthday, driver's license. If we're doing abstracts for you and you happen to have somebody from Prince Edward Island, we also have, it's the only province, I believe, we actually have to capture the whole address of the driver to pull an abstract of PEI. The system does it automatically. Driver's license classes and conditions throughout North America is built into the system. So the driver doesn't, if they're not text boxes, the driver's actually choosing drop downs throughout the system. So this is a request. You look at the request. Request is generated, and the first thing I want to point out here is that it's queued. And that means that it's gone to us. One of the things we've talked to our customers that use some of the services, they don't even know when the process starts. So they faxed it off, they've done whatever, but they don't know that the process has started. Ours is in queue. Anytime you can press update, and it will tell you what we have done. So if we've started doing the background check, the activity log here will tell you every action we do. If we fax something, if we email something, if we're calling, leaving messages. So at any time you want to know where we are on a file, you can update, and the activity log will show you where we're at. So it takes away the guessing of, are they really paying attention to my background checks, or are they doing the fleet that's maybe a little bigger than I am? When things come back in the DAD, or in the truck rate, you may use us to do your references, or you may do your references yourself. You may do a combination of both. If it comes back verified by DAD, it's identified, verified by DAD, that we've done it for you. Again, I know it's challenging to read some of these shots, but this first column here, it tells you who the employer was, the date that it came in, and date it was created. The reason we put created and saved comes down to abstracts, CVORs, police searches. The date that it was created could be a different date. The driver got it 20 days ago. So we capture them separately. How are we doing on time? Thank you. We have a break coming up at 10:15. Excuse me. This is request for drug and alcohol. Again, the system's generated automatically. We've got Flakes Only Trucking, who the person was, where they are. It's automatically put the driver's license number and Johnny's name, your logo, your information, your DER, designated employee rep, who handles your drug and alcohol. The other thing that the system does, back to an admin level, some fleets use the social insurance number as the identifier. Some fleets use driver's license as identifier number. Some fleets use birth dates as identifier number. Again, we're not your legal department. When we set up your account, you can choose whatever you want, and that's what's going to go in as the identifying number. We find most of our clients are using the driver's license number for drug and alcohol as the identifier, social insurance number. I know it's required, like DOT, the social security number, but the privacy people don't pay much attention to what the DOT want. The privacy people pay attention to how we do things. Again, driver signed, and off this goes to the previous fleet. When it comes back from DAD, maybe the company doesn't want to use our digital service. They just want to fax us something. They've already got it done, and we're going to fax it to you. So we can actually upload the document and tell you that the signature is attached, the drug and alcohol information is attached. Talked a little bit earlier about the accidents or incidents or violations. Part of why we capture the information is when you use DAD services, the separation report is already pre-filled based upon the accidents, incidents through the life cycle of this employee. Corrective action, again, we talked about earlier, the corrective action is tied to a specific incident and what Johnny here had to take a PDIC, maybe you're uploading a copy of the course. Next step reminder, yes, back to your reminder section, and this one, follow up on PDIC, and then a future date of your choice. Drug and alcohol testing, same thing. When you're doing, if you're doing DOT drivers and you're doing safety performance history, somebody's contacting your fleet for the drug and alcohol information of one of your previous employees, by keeping records of your testing here, you can then, when you're doing a separation report from our system, it will give DAD that information that's needed to do the drug and alcohol report for you. And one of the things I've talked to a few of our safety people about is the drug and alcohol specifically. I want to know what's going on, and I want to be sure that I'm informed. DOT regs, I have to give the information. So when we have Johnny Rocket's information in DAD for the next 3 years, DAD locks at 3 years and won't give the drug and alcohol after 3 years requirements. We send you an email instantly, and that email will say this previous employer, or prospective employer is looking for drug and alcohol information on Johnny Rocket, and you gave us this information 6 months ago. click here, update the date, because it's still the right information, it automatically puts that fleet's information on the drug and alcohol, it automatically captures the information from the first time. Maybe I'm the new safety guy, and I don't like what was done by the safety person before I was there. When that email comes to me, I can change. I'm now the DER, so I can go back in and I can resave that information on behalf of my fleet, and that information, again, goes on to the next safety person.